You're welcome back. Now, I promised you a big show indeed. The hashtag Fix Lekma Now is going into overdrive. We're going live to the location to do everything we can to find out what exactly is the cause of this delay in fixing that all-important road. But before that, though, let's get into the newspapers. And, of course, that means Mama Vizi is here with us.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning to you.
It's
You're off to Lekma.
Yes, yes, I'm rushing off right now so that I can be on the ground for the rest of the show. But
Okay.
I know you've got lots and lots to tell us about what's in the papers today. You've got Joseph Akable with you as well, haven't you?
Definitely, absolutely. So, you know, I said on radio that those who live in and around and those who are regular users of the Lekma road, the roads in the municipality, they should grab some coffee and join you guys on set. So expect some breakfasts.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, you're so kind. You're so kind. Right, let me rush to my coffee destiny then. I'll leave you to it. Enjoy.
All right. So that's Kojo Yang Singh, who is off to the Lekma municipality. Well, specifically to the Lekma Hospital, because that's where the team is the Super Morning Show on Joy FM and the AM show live from the municipality this day. And it's the whole idea is to put some pressure on the right authorities to fix the roads. It's actually a very terrible road. We've been doing the story for a while now, for about a week and over, and it's now time to take the campaign to the place. So Kojo Yang Singh, Roland Walker joining the team on the Super Morning Show on radio. It's one big show. We will be going to the venue in a bit, but we have to tell you what's making headlines in the newspapers. Joseph Akable, who's usually in the court, is joining me right here so we can do the newspapers. Good morning to you, Joseph. Kofi Akable Frimpong. Okay, so let's dig in straight away. I've got the Daily Graphic newspaper, so let's start over the Daily Graphic. Front page, Sandema Senior High School closed down. First student dies over demo. That's very disturbing. Full story in page 20. Also, U.S. assures Ghana of support to facilitate trade. Cancel prosecution disagree over Afoko's selection. We will tell you how far this case has traveled. Akable was in court yesterday. He would also fill us in what we missed. But the jury was formed anyway.
Yes, 7-member jury.
Okay. Also, 9 fishermen rescued at sea. Calm returns at Awaso. GUIDEC engages Ghana bauxite campaigning. The center spread of the paper. Communications Ministry to roll out system to secure electronic transactions. And Vice President departs to Cuba and Canada. Back page. Well, Nigeria, they had to play for 3rd place yesterday, and they did it for their country. So they got bronze. The celebrations on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper.
We can do the front page of the Daily Guide now. It says, "Stop my trial." Ayariga tells court. There's a photograph of the Boko Central MP. Alex Mode's oil and gas claims challenged. And Ghana progresses in utilizing $2 billion Chinese loan. Pub owner arrested for murder, also on the front page of the Daily Guide. The back page has this sports story about Swansea set to offload Ayus. Andre and Jordan Ayew are captured here. And this story about tennis in Africa holding a clinic also on the back page of the Daily Guide newspaper. The Daily Dispatch.
No, you have to do the center spread.
The center spread as well.
Yes, okay. You have to do the center there. The news one.
The center spread news one has the story about R. Kelly pleading not guilty and being denied bail. And the Alex Mode story is here. And working with Beyonce is an honor is coming from Guilty Beat. You know Guilty Beat, right?
I know Guilty Beat.
Yeah, he produced the Aquaba song and the Pilolo song. Beautiful beat.
So there are some real questions that I want to ask him. Did he actually, was he in the same studio with her?
I think he was, because there's actually a photograph of them together.
Nice.
You know, we've not seen a photograph of our good friend Shatawale with.
No, because I think the works were just presented.
Yeah.
It's not like they worked together.
Produced, so we should assume that
this is huge, because Beyonce is, if not the most successful musician in the world today. And to work with her, and for her to put the spotlight on Africa the way she's done with this album. We're waiting for it. I hear it's out tomorrow.
Yes, I want to hear that Shatawale song, the part on the whole album. We want to find how it goes.
We definitely do.
African Tax Administrators Meet in Ghana is also in the center spread, and Estates Developer Appeals to Government also in the center spread of the Daily Guide.
All right, let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper. But I want to ask, who's the president of Ghana today?
The president of Ghana currently is the Speaker of Parliament, the acting president.
Acting president,
Professor
yeah.
Michael Quinn.
Because he's not the president, he's acting president. Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, 80-bed Kaswa Polyclinic left unused after 2 years of completion. We put the spotlight this particular facility not too long ago here on Joy News. But this story, Speaker of Parliament sworn in as acting president. But this was 2 days ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Men's Gold customers besiege CID headquarters to present petition. Japan government provides $1.38 million scholarship grant to Ghana. Gregory Afoko and Alangdi Asaki, the two persons who allegedly conspired to murder Adams Mahama, the former Upper East Regional Chairman of the NPP, have pleaded not guilty to the charges. They've got the stories or the details of that story in the paper today. Let's do the back page of the Times. Nigeria win bronze, beat Tunisia 1-0. 67 LPG stations declared high risk in the central region. If you live in the central region, this is a story that you must pay attention to, so you know where it is deemed safe for you to buy your gas. Really, the story is on the back page of the paper. You can take a read.
The Daily Dispatch front page has a story, Daily Dispatch exclusive. It says, what you never knew about the $200 million chamber likely to start after 2020 elections. And Akufo-Addo petitioned on the architect for National Cathedral and $200 million chamber, also on the front page of the Daily Dispatch. The back page has a story, so the same exclusive story about the chamber continues at the back page. The center spread has this story about can the MPPs Abu Jinapo unseat the NDC MP for Damongo is the question that is being asked, yes. And so you have the two of them, their photographs there. Focus on Ghana's Third Republic. Also here, it's a book, Political History of Ghana by Dr. Obeda Samuel. I've read that book, fantastic book.
Yeah?
Yes, and Facebook got hit with $5 billion fine, also in the center spread of the Daily Dispatch. The Statistical Service facing funding challenges ahead of 2020 census is also another question that is being raised here. A story, a very important story about the money for the census that they're supposed to conduct. Whether we must even do it in the first place is another question, because we are putting together the Ghana card and everything.
When was the last time we did a census?
That was in 2010.
Okay,
2010, yeah.
So this was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
We could do it in 2020. So that
Yeah.
it will be 10 years exactly.
Yeah, that's actually when it's slated to happen. But the fear is that the funding may not be available for it.
Because we're doing a lot of other national exercises. We're doing the Ghana card.
Ghana card, yeah.
We're doing something else.
So the issue is that if we are doing a Ghana card, I mean, that should be an accurate data. If it's accurate enough, then you don't really have to go around counting people again, because provision is made for foreigners who are legally resident in Ghana to be captured, and so at face value of the data captured, you should be able to tell the number of people in Ghana if the data system is accurate as it's supposed to be. But it has ended in Greater Accra, and we know that many people have actually
it has ended in Greater Accra?
Yes.
The entire region?
Yes, the entire region.
I haven't registered.
I
didn't get the
either.
opportunity to register.
And so the data captured in Accra is obviously not a true reflection of all of us.
Yeah, true. Most of us didn't get the opportunity. Okay, well, I don't know if it's most of us, but some of us didn't get the opportunity to do it. We've got the Daily Statesman. Yes,
it has a story about Sino Hydro Ghana's game changer. It's part 1. And Guta traders welcome 30% tax cut, call for spread of benefits. And NDC sets Kumasi on fire. Vigilantes create flashpoints, threatening the ban on vigilantism. You can find details of that story in the Daily Statesman. The back page has South Africa inside a football mad township, too dangerous for scouts to visit, and Ghana in pot 1 ahead of AFCON 2021 qualifiers. And so even before the final is played, they are already preparing us for the qualifiers. We are not participating in the final.
We are not ready to qualify for the next one.
Yeah, so that is it for the Daily Statement. I'm sure we can do some details of the story.
Yeah, this disturbing story in the Daily Graphic newspaper, page 20. One male student of the Sunday Masinia High Technical School in the Busanol district in the Upper East region died last Tuesday when the police tried to quell a student's disturbance in the school. One female student also got injured, but she was treated and discharged at the Sandema District Hospital. The identities of the deceased and the injured students were not immediately known. Now, following a meeting of the District Security Committee, the school was closed down yesterday for 2 weeks and the students asked to leave the compound. The police given their briefing, and that's captured in the story. But I think that what shouldn't be happening is the fact that one student has died in this attempt by the police to bring calm, really, and this shouldn't be happening. And where are we in the calendar in terms of the senior high school education? This is not a time for school to be closed. Yeah, it's a critical time.
I think that they must move in quickly. I'm always not really for the bit about closing down schools immediately things happen, because they lose contact hours that obviously cannot be replaced unless there's an extension on the calendar. And this is by 2 weeks, when we close down for 2 weeks. And so I think the relevant agencies and the police, for that matter, should move in to be able to maintain law and order in their school, and if it's safer for the school to be open, it should be open quickly so that they can get back to studies.
So there's a story which starts from the front page of the Daily Graphic about 9 fishermen whose boats capsized at the sea last Monday, but they were rescued by a dredging support vessel. Details of that story you can catch up in the Daily Graphic newspaper. I think I'm okay.
We can do that of the Daily Guide, page 3. It has a story about Stop My Trial, the Bawku Central MP. And it reads that the embattled National Democratic Congress Member of Parliament for Bawku Central has taken another step to avoid being tried for allegedly flouting procurement procedures in the purchase of an ambulance for the Bawku Municipal Assembly. And so his lawyers are saying that they are appealing a decision of the court. Earlier, they had raised an objection about the charge sheet filed by the special prosecutor, saying that because he's beyond the retirement age, he's not qualified to even sign a charge sheet, not alone even hold the office. And the court disagreed with them. So they filed an appeal at the Court of Appeal, and they are asking the judge that you hold on with proceedings till that Court of Appeal decision is determined. But the Special Prosecutor's Office is against this particular application. They say that the country will be thrown in a state of anarchy if anytime someone is being prosecuted and something happens, he files an appeal and we have to halt the prosecution. It means that no one will be prosecuted in the country, because people will keep filing appeals on every process that the court rules against them. And so the judge...
But this will also not be new. This won't be the first time.
It won't be the first time either. But the point they make again is that in the event that the Court of Appeal rules in favor of Mama Ayariga, the Court of Appeal has the power to say that because the charge sheet should be dismissed, the trial, at whatever stage it is, should be truncated. If in fact you have actually been convicted, the Court of Appeal can actually set aside that conviction, because the charge sheet which you are trial based on has problems with it. So they throw it away and it sets everything aside. So the point I'm making is that what damage does he stand, irreparable damage does he risk suffering if the court proceeds to hear the case. And so the judge heard both sides and came to the conclusion that she'll be delivering her decision on July 31.
So this is the same, is this the same judge sitting on this case, the judge from the first case?
The same judge. So there are 2 Ayariga cases that she's
handling.
Yes.
Okay. And all the hearings will be on Mondays?
Not on Mondays, because they actually sat yesterday, so it appears the judge is really...
Yesterday
was Wednesday. So
okay. On this second issue, because to be fair, she said she was going to sit on Mondays with the first case.
With the first case, yeah.
Okay. All right. This is very interesting. But Parliament, I think there were also proposals for Parliament to sit from Mondays anyway.
Yes, and they actually started past Monday.
Okay, so it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't
you
matter
still can't make it to Parliament, or you miss some parliamentary time. Let's spend some time and talk about Paul Afoko, because not Paul Afoko, Gregory Afoko. The only link is the fact that they're brothers.
Yeah.
So we want to bring you up to speed with where we are, but we want to go back to when this whole trial began. Or this case really, where it started from. So we've got some graphics on this that we will show you. So if you haven't been following and you're lost in all this, because you only started paying attention to it after the police, is it the BNI or the police, refused to let him go even when a court of competent jurisdiction had granted him bail? So let's go back. Tuesday, May 26, 2015, Magistrate Court in Accra remands Gregory Afoko to police custody over murder of Upper East Region Chairman of the NPP, Adams Mahama. Who is Gregory Afoko? Well, he's a 50-year-old farmer, but the other very famous link is the fact that he's brother to former MPP party chairman, Paul Afoko. So usually when you hear the story, you would hear Paul Afoko first, or you hear former MPP party chairman's brother. So that's the link. But let's go to January 28, 2019. Before that, court admits suspect to police custody, and they gave a date for him to reappear. But let's fast forward to January 28, 2019. The AG files a nolle prosequi to discontinue the trial following the arrest of the other suspect, Asablil Asangdi, who had been on the run since the incident occurred in 2015. Did I pronounce the name right?
Not entirely,
okay.
But I'm sure he's the best.
So help me get it
so
right.
It's actually Asaki Alangdi.
Okay.
Asaki Alangdi.
All right. So Afoko and Alangdi were then put before the Accra Central District Court on provisional charges of conspiracy to commit murder and murder for committal proceedings. Now, March 14, 2019, an Accra High Court presided over by Justice George Buedi admitted Afoko to bail in the sum of 500,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. Afoko was to report himself to the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service every 2 weeks. But this did not happen. Why? Well, the order to release the suspect on bail was disregarded by the state for 4 months. An attempt to have the decision reversed at the High Court failed. The state, through the Attorney General, later filed an appeal. And Akable would tell you that also.
Yes, so that appeal is actually pending, but they actually filed a stay of execution at the Court of Appeal, asking that they shouldn't release him until the appeal is determined, and the stay of execution was rejected. The court dismissed it, so they were supposed to release Gregory Afoko, but that didn't happen, and subsequently we know what happened in court just this week on Monday, when the application was made for the bail to be rescinded, which was granted by the court.
Okay, so July 15, 2019, AG makes oral application at the High Court against the bail granted to the accused. Prosecutor argued that Mr. Afoko may not return to court if he was granted bail, and we're all very familiar. The court did not let him go, but that generated a lot of concerns, and that got a lot of people even aware of the fact that he had been granted bail earlier and he was not let go because he had stayed in custody for over 3 months, for 4 months. That's more specific. So Gregory Afoko's family petitioned local and international organizations. They called on Amnesty International, the Diplomatic Corps, and SHRAJ to intervene. Now, Amnesty International also subsequently called on the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, to institute a full-scale investigation into circumstances that compel the Ghana Police Service to refuse to enforce the bail granted Gregory Afoko. There were people who also called on the Ghana Bar Association, because if the judiciary gives an order, they make a ruling, they make a decision. The courts is the last place. We always say that's the last stop for all of us. So if they give a decision and an arm of the state decides not to go according to what the court has decided, then what happens? We had the Ghana Bar Association president on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM yesterday make some statements. Yeah,
he was urging the lawyers for Gregory Afoko to take the matter up and responding directly to the criticism that they were not speaking. He said because the matter was in court and they had lawyers representing them, and that is why they didn't comment. But people are drawing parallels with the South African 3 gentlemen, if you recall that incident, who had been brought in to train some security agents of the NPP. A court had ordered them to be released, but the government under President Mahama didn't release them, and they actually ended up deporting them. And at that time, the Ghana Bar Association publicly condemned them, even though they had lawyers, and also the issue was still in court. And so people drew those parallels to say that the GBA apparently is not being as proactive and as vociferous as they had been in time past. But he says the issue is pending in court, and they feel that, the lawyers can remedy that. But he has indeed said categorically that he feels that Afoko's rights were infringed upon when the court order was given and the state refused to obey it. So that is some positive news, and the family can obviously take that matter up at the Court of Appeal and hopefully.
I think what is disturbing is the fact that the bar had been silent for all this while, and he had to take a lot of pressure. They still haven't released a statement, and I don't think that is enough to say that they've got lawyers. They have lawyers, all right, but this is one arm of government being disrespected because they are taking a decision, and another arm refuses to go with it. It's not left to the individual person's lawyers. That's why we've got all these associations and all these groupings so that they can step in. But if the bar can't speak and I have to only rely on my lawyer, then that's not good enough.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so let's fast forward to July 17, 2019. Fresh charges leveled against Afoko and Alangdi, who is a butcher. So that's what we know about him. And here are the charges: conspiracy to commit murder and murder of Adams Mahama. The court, presided over by Justice Merle Wood, swore in a 7-member jury to hear the case. Now, if you look through the newspapers today, one of them talks about the disagreements with the formation of the jury. Tell us, Joseph, you're in courts.
It's an interesting process. So what happens is that there is a list of jurors who are brought. They are drawn from various organizations across private and public organizations. They are not supposed to be educated in the law. The ordinary people, they have to look at the facts and come to determination in terms of the evidence presented, come to determination whether the person is guilty or not. And so the court clerk picks a piece of paper, and when the name is on it, he mentions Mama Vio Usabwaji. Then the juror walks from the back to the front, and when he walks, the accused persons and their lawyer look at them and they can say that I don't like this person. They're allowed to do that.
Do they have to give a reason?
3 times without reason.
Okay.
After 3 times, the 4th time, you have to give a reason why you don't like the person. And the basis for that rejection should be that maybe the individual has been convicted of a crime before, or the person is related to the person who you've committed a crime against, amongst others. And the point that Mr. Afoko's lawyers were making was
the person you're alleged to have committed a crime against.
So maybe in this instance, maybe the person is related to Adams Mahama, perhaps. And so the point that Gregory Afoko's lawyers were making was that standing on their feet in court while the people are walking up, they are just hearing the names for the first time. So they don't even have enough time to do that investigation to know that the person has been convicted of a crime. So they were asking the court to give them some more time. And so the first time that objection was raised, the judge made the point that they've not exhausted their 3 options of rejecting without reason. And so a reason is not even needed at this stage. And so you can go ahead and object. And Gregory Afoko did that twice. The other gentleman objected once. And when they were about to swear them in, they raised the issue again that they still can object to the gentleman, the jurors being sworn in. But they needed time to do the investigation. And the judge again responds that you still haven't exhausted your 3 to the 4 to even need reason. And moreover, the law doesn't provide for time for background checks, even though it gives the basis for that check. So it appears to be more of some kind of vacuum in that law. And I personally am expecting that sometime in some form of a case, it should end up maybe at a higher court for some pronouncement to be made. Because the Act 30, if you read up the parts, it makes reference that you can reject on this basis. But it doesn't say that you should be given the time to do that background search. And in other jurisdiction, jury selection is a big deal because, mind you, they are the ones who return the guilty or not guilty verdicts. These are people who are lay people in terms of the law. They are supposed to listen to the evidence that will be put forward. And elsewhere, they have jury consultants, jury experts who will do the probing and say that because there's a murder case, you need someone who is married or who is someone who is not married, is single. All those permutations are likely to influence even where the person is coming from, which region is coming from, how close is he to it. Are the people going to have access to the ongoing trial? In some places, they are even secluded. All those things don't happen here. So those are issues. People have written extensively against our jury selection process. So that was what led to the clashes over the jury process yesterday. But they actually ended up having a 7-member jury in place. All
right. In some few seconds, let's just finish this off because there was also a directive by the judge to the BNI because one of the accused persons mentioned the fact that he wasn't getting enough access to his lawyers. So that was one of the things that the judge said, asked the BNI to give him access beyond the 15 minutes that he claimed he was getting. And then let's finish off. So this case has been adjourned. When is the date?
July 26th.
July 26th. Okay. All right. So this is where we are with this case. Joseph Akamble is our man in court. He will be updating us from here. So now you know this full story on the Gregory Afoko trial. Just before we go, let me say a happy birthday to Viet Edubrenya of Angel International School in Takrady. She's 6 today, cute 6-year-old. Happy birthday to you, Viet Edubrenya. Enjoy your birthday today. Stay with us. We've got sports coming your way, after which we will go live to the Lekma Hospital. That's where the AM show, well, half of the AM show and the entire Super Morning show on Joy FM, they're based there. To bring us, you know, all the other sides to this road conversation that we've been having. It's just a spot, put in the spotlight on the Lekma roads, how terrible. And people have been narrating in terms of loss of livelihood. Some persons have lost lives, sadly, because of the bad nature of the road linking to the hospital in particular. So our campaign is in Lekma today. But first, Benedict Owusu joins us with sports. That's what's up next here on the show.